obviously the defending national champion at their place, so what that entails.
Well, obviously it's a great opportunity for you anytime you get to play the national champion. Obviously it's a big game, and the thing about UConn is, they're 8-5 right now, but their record is deceiving because they really haven't had everybody healthy until the last couple games. They lost 2 at the buzzer. Boatwright didn't play against Temple the whole second half, so they're a lot better team than their record indicates. And being national champions, one thing about UConn, they've always played with great confidence because they are UConn. They think they're good. They think they're supposed to be good. And being our first conference road game, this is a tough one to open up with, but it's a great opportunity for us if you can go get it up there because, again, they're one of the teams that I think that the conference championship will go through.
What do they do well?
Tremendous defensive team. Tremendous defensive team. In my estimation, Kevin last year, about mid-year, early on they tried to steal the ball from everybody last year, and then he went to a more conservative, what we call load the box. Don't give you layups, make it really tough to get the ball in the paint, and when you drive into the paint, sell out to stopping that, and then make you throw it out, and then run at you. And they're playing that way again this year, so they're much like SMU in that they're very difficult to score on. And they're lightning fast. If you take a bad shot, you turn the ball over, or if you go in there off one foot and get a shot blocked with Brima and their shot blockers, they are lightning fast end to end, boy. And they're going to lay it in on you. So this is a game that you cannot give up layups to them because it's going to be, if you give them 5 or 6 layups, it's going to be hard for you to score on the other end. So you got to keep them from getting easy points and make them earn everything they get, and then because you're going to have to earn everything you get.
How important? How important will it be to contain Ryan Boatwright?
Well, you got to keep him in front. He can make threes, and he's shooting a pretty good percentage there, but this is a game, in my estimation, he can't get assists and points. If he makes a few threes on you and you keep him in front and you keep him out of the paint and those kind of things, then you got a chance to win the game. If you let him go by you and get floaters and layups and kicks out for another guy to make a three, and then he makes some threes too, then you're going to have a hard time winning. You got to take something from him, and we can't let him get into the paint where he can get assists and layups. And if he makes some threes on us, he makes some threes on us.
Does this series, Coach, feel like it has a natural rivalry to it now that, over the years that this has become?
It's always been a war. For whatever reason, since we, got talented enough to really compete with them, it's always been a war. And I think that's probably goes to, Coach Cronin built the culture of toughness here. He's a tough guy, and Calhoun was the same way. And, Kevin has carried that over. It's 2 teams that'll fight you, to the death to get a win, get a rebound, get a loose ball, and that's why the game, I think, feels that way. But it's become a great rivalry.
This program has always prided itself on defense, but over the last 5-6 games, the balanced offense attack, the unselfishness, you have to be really proud of how these guys are distributing the ball amongst themselves. I am.
They've bought into the fact that we're not a one-man team. We got to distribute it, and each night, on a given night, anybody could be the leading scorer. And on every night, we got to have a list of 6 to 7 guys that are between 8 and 15 points someplace. And that's our strength as a team. And we kind of thought that coming in, that we'd be much more balanced this year. And obviously, the inside attack helps us from a twofold standpoint. Obviously, you score points in there, but it helps your perimeter guys too, because they have to pay so much more attention to the inside attack that it gives perimeter guys opportunities. And like the last game against East Carolina, we accumulated about 5 fouls, not on guys shooting the ball, but guys that were posting up and they were trying to prevent the ball from going in, and they fouled us. Well, you say, well, how does that affect your guards? Well, what happens then, you get the 12-minute mark at a half, and you've accumulated those fouls, and now the guard drives and gets fouled. Now we're in a one-on-one, and he gets the guard, our best shooters, get to go to the line and knock him down, although Tay's a pretty good free throw shooter too, and so is Corey. But, that happens, that you get to the one-on-one quicker, and so then any guard drive, he gets to go to the free throw line and get 2 easy ones, hopefully.
You guys have been in some big environments already on the road, playing NC State and some other games, being road tested already. How much does that help you guys now going into this environment?
Oh, the NC State crowd was a good crowd, but it was at an odd time of the day, and it wasn't packed house and crazy. I got a feeling it's going to be packed house and crazy, even though it's 11 o'clock in the morning. I think it's going to be, because UConn's, they have to win this game. I mean, I think that's their attitude right now. Their RPI's in the 80s, ours is in the 30s, and they don't have that many opportunities, to knock off a high RPI team. Right now we're a high RPI team, so I think they're going to have everybody out, and it'll be the most hostile environment we've played into this point, I would say.
Speaking about that 11 o'clock, I know Coach always talked in the past about the 11A games, doesn't like it. How much does that change the routine of everything, of guys, getting out of the routine, your travel, the mornings and the breakfast and the lunches, and then getting ready to shoot arounds? I mean, it changes everything from when you arrive, when you go to bed, to everything.
All guys are like, they're like most teenagers. They don't want to get up. They'd rather sleep in because, kids today they're vampires. They're late night guys. I mean, most of them are because they stay up. They text their girlfriends. They watch the late night stuff. They watch movies late. All that, and they don't end up going to sleep. They might be in their bed, but they don't go to sleep. So, you got to make that adjustment. If it's an early morning game, you got to try to get in a little bit earlier and try to get yourself to sleep because you're going to have to get up and get some food in you so you can get it digested. It's not like, well, hey, just let them sleep until 10. Well, you can't do that. I mean, they got to get up and eat. You got to have some energy for the game. And, a lot of times if you got an afternoon game, guys can get done, they can go back, they can get some rest. If they got class in the morning, they can go back and sleep, for a couple hours, and then they go to pregame meal, and then after that they stay up and they go. But in this is the case, you got to be ready to rock and roll, as we say, right from the minute you get out of bed, because it's not long before you're in the arena and going.
Is it? You said earlier about them needing this game. Is a desperate team sometimes is a tough team to face when they feel like their backs against the wall, needing that win in a conference early?
Well, I think so. I mean, and they're 1-1 in the conference right now, so they can't afford to lose a home game. And anytime you get, it's like a wounded animal. The most dangerous animals are wounded animals. Anybody will tell you that. Because they're going to that flight or fight, what they call it, kicks in, and it's no different when basketball teams feel like, it's slipping or we got to win this game. They're going to bring their best effort. I told the guys the other day when we met, we just stretched on Wednesday and the in-between day to stretched and saw some film. I said, we're going to have our best effort by far defensively and offensively to win this game. And because, it's going to be an all-out World War III type of battle. That's what I think's coming. And if our guys go in with that mindset, we'll have a chance. If we go in there thinking, hey, they look at their record, they're 8-5, they're not that good, well, that's not the case. They're very good. So that's all I've been trying to do is pound that in their heads.
And, you guys have really developed Gary Clark and Corey DeBerry. How important is it to have such a scoring threat in the paint for you this year?
Well, obviously, if you do the physics, it's a lot easier to make them from 2 feet than it is to make them from 25 feet. At least it's my experience, and when you look at the national field goal leaders, it's usually almost always a big guy. Because again, they're shooting, close to the basket. So for the things I said earlier, they draw fouls, it gives us a chance to get some easy baskets around the rim. They get 3-point plays, and then all of a sudden everybody's got to run in there and try to keep them from doing that, and now guards get some wide open shots instead of some semi-wide open shots. Or they get guys in what we call long closeouts. A guy has to run over 15 feet to recover to get a guy, and then you can go by him, as opposed to if your post guys can't really score, they don't go down in there. Now they're in a 5 feet closeout. Well, that's a lot easier to stop a guy because he can't blow by you. So one thing helps the other, and it's been key for us that those guys do that. And the other thing that happens is you generally have a best chance to rebound those balls too. When a post guy turns and shoots a jump hook and you got everybody around the back, you got a chance to rebound that ball. Sometimes the 3 ball is kind of hard to rebound because it kick out long and, Is that good?
Thanks, Coach.
Good, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Great questions.
How you been?